My name is Oakanza Alfred. In today's segment, I'm going to be continuing on with the Q&A. Remember, last year I had put out a request for people to ask questions on all these platforms, and I would be able to give my personal opinion, my answers. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So I don't know who this question is from, but the question is, what's your normal turnaround time, that is Lesedi Lebone, for selling your properties? That's if you are engaged to sell on behalf of owners as an agent. Well, I would like to believe we are unbeatable, but I am obviously biased. The question further says, what are the prerequisites you need from clients as you take up their portfolio? Well, we have a mandate, which is sort of like an agreement form that somebody signs, giving us either the sole mandate for us to be the only agents who list the property, or we explore other options. And if you need any further information as to the services that Lesedi Lebone does provide, please, you find us at Mogobe Plaza, Unit 9, ground floor. So for all your needs, Lesedi Lebone, do check us out there. And then April Sims on Facebook was interested in finding out if one has rental property that is debt-free, would I advise that they value, sell, and use the proceeds to buy land? I think we've addressed this question from the previous segment. I think it was Mike Modrick's question on Facebook. So for answers, please do refer to that. Moving on to other platforms, I have a question from Petso Monosi on LinkedIn, and she would like to know, how do you manage risk in a property development project? Well, in property development projects, risk management involves identifying potential risks and assessing the impacts to the project. So there are a lot of risks involved in property development. For one, it's a site, so you 24 hours need a guard and to guard against material being stolen. You're guarding against external forces, and you're also guarding against internal forces. Above and beyond that, there is also guarding against weather storms. Like right now it's raining, and if you have material out there, you start to wonder what you can do. So yeah, so to manage such, you do feasibility studies and contingency planning, which is something that I can help with. All of this is dependent on the type of project and the magnitude of the project that you're running, and we can tailor make it such that it minimizes risks for your particular project. So do get in touch and book a consultation with Lesedi Lebone. Please do go on www.oakanzaalfred.com to book that consultation, and we'll be able to tailor make a contingency plan for you depending on the project that you are running. We also have a question from Cheza Pelaelo on LinkedIn, and she would like to know what metrics are used to determine the affordable housing. And I don't want to mention names, but there are mandates out there for affordable housing, and they are still completely shut out the majority of the population. Well, several metrics are used to assess affordable housing, including availability of affordable housing units relative to demand and percentages. But this one is a little bit tricky as well, because words like affordable are specific to, what is affordable to one party might not necessarily be affordable to the other party. And this is something that we as consumers also need to take up with policymakers. Like I said, I think there's one of the segments where I addressed that I attended the housing bito, and there were very little consumers. that was an opportunity for people to voice out to policymakers the changes that they would like to see in. But as Botswana, we sometimes don't take up on such opportunities to actually pursue change and get our voice heard to the actual people who are in charge of changing policies. So I would recommend that everyone rallies behind policy change such that the issues can be addressed. Her second question is it time to have some sort of rent regulation framework to say if I rented out an apartment that has this, it should be this amount. Rent is really pushing up the cost of living. Studios are going for 4K. Unfortunately, I don't think this is feasible, and I don't think this will ever be possible. Don't let them sell you a dream that they will be able to regulate rent prices. For one, we've always mentioned that the key elements to property are location, location, location. And with each and every apartment, the location is different. It can be a 2-bedroom house of the same finishes located in different parts of Botswana, and there's no way they can cost the same. One, there could be a house in CBD close to in phase 2, close to the CBD where everybody wants to live, same amenities and everything in terms of the finishes looking the same, and you want to compare it to that of a house in Mopani with the same kind of finishes. There is no way the rent could be the same for those two properties. Simply put, demand for the other property is higher. And again, we have to look at it this way. Property is unique. Each and every property is unique in that any particular property is only on one location. So I could be at an advantage that I am at the corner of the same street. So there's no way my price at the corner of the same street will be the same price as somebody in the middle. So no two properties are identical. Definitely, I'm sorry on that one. Demand and supply, like with any other product, that's what drives the force of property rental. So it will be really hard to regulate that. Sasame Musweu on LinkedIn asks, are there alternative building methods? Because the traditional methods, brick and mortar, are so expensive and thus excluding a large population. Well, I think there are a lot of different alternatives. Shipping containers, we've seen wooden cabin-style homes and semi-permanent tile and concrete flooring. The wooden cabin style is cheaper, so they say, but they might be more expensive in the long run in terms of maintenance. You know, with wood, it's thick, so really annually you have to keep vanishing and all of that. So cheaper now, but you pay more in the long run. It's the same as electricity from BPC or going off the grid. Initial installation of going off the grid is slightly higher, but in the long run you're not paying much. So it's the same wooden cabin, maybe you'll spend less, but in terms of maintenance costs it's higher. And as well, when you speak about wanting a property to be inexpensive, you have to really zone in on your goal. What is your goal with owning that property? Is it an emotional decision? Yeah, sure. If it's an emotional decision, then it's fine. Go and build, go and take a container and put it in the middle of wherever you want it and finish it and whatever. But do know that there are risks that come with that. Should you want to sell that property, it will be very difficult to get a proper valuation on it, because with valuations, they work with comparables. So how do you price that? Because usually pricing comes from valuations, and how are you going to value that property? There is Further question on that from Refilwe Fifi Juliet Molisiwa, also on LinkedIn, says, this is a brilliant question from Sasami. Let me add on to that and say, what are the risks associated with the said alternative building methods in terms of longevity and insurance? I think I touched a little bit on that in terms of longevity. Is this sustainable, semi-permanent, tent, concrete flooring? Is it something that is doable? Can you live with this? Is this 50 years old, like brick and mortar, which can be 100, 200, even more years? So there are a lot of risks. For example, I don't know if insurance companies would be willing to put their neck on the table to say we're insuring this, being that it's not something that is has been established in terms of industry standards. So every time you invest in property, and I'm talking to people who are really investing, you have to look at how quickly can I get rid of this should I need to. And a lot of that is are there similar places like that? Do we have a trend? Is there a standard, as opposed to just building something that just appeals to you as an individual but won't necessarily work for most people, and you find yourself stuck with that property? One, even insurance, I don't know if they'll be able to take a risk and insure something that they don't know how it will respond to the environment. So there are a lot of factors to consider when you are thinking cheaper. It might turn out to be even more expensive in the long run. Very good question. Interesting. We have a final question from Royal George. He says, what are some of the things you feel have helped you stand successfully in the property industry? Thank you, George, for considering me to be one of the successful people in the construction industry. To me, I'm learning every day. Like, learning doesn't stop, and I'm looking to grow my portfolio further. And even as we interact, not everything is cast in stone for me. I'm learning a lot from your feedback. People are posing very important questions about, so what's going to happen? Everyone is still investing in malls, but we see people going online. Those kind of questions probe my mind also and cause me to think deeper. So I love this kind of interaction. And the things that have sort of helped me to maybe get where I am right now is openness really to learn, and being tenacious, grit, withstanding the storm. Wow, the high moments make it worthwhile, but even the journey towards where you want to go really is amazing. You have to enjoy the pain that comes with it. It makes the glory much more fulfilling. So I don't think I am done yet with the world. I think there's still a lot to see from me, and hopefully some exciting products coming up as well in relation to what I'm trying to do with the consultancy. I'm working on a lot of things. We're putting up packages, mentorship programs, and other packages that would be able to give newcomers into the industry a stepping stone. So yeah, 2024, guys, let's get together and let's work. Strive for impact. Thank you and ciao.